This is going to help a lot more homeowners refinance at lower rates, which means consumers save money, those families save money, and it gets those families spending in it again, and it also makes it easier for them to make their mortgage payments. People out here don't have a lot of time or a lot of patience for some of that nonsense that's been going on in Washington.
Don't try and stop the foreclosure process. Let it run its course and hit the bottom, allow investors to buy homes, put renters in them, fix the homes up, and let it turn around and come back up. The Obama administration has slow-walked the foreclosure process.
President Obama in Las Vegas today unveiling a new plan that essentially goes around Congress with executive action allowing people with underwater mortgages to refinance into lower payments if they're current on their payments and if they have loans backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. There is some skepticism about the plan, although politically it seems to be playing well, and the campaign of Obama campaign is trying to counter what Governor Mitt Romney said out in Nevada just a couple of weeks ago. Let's bring in our panel. Steve Hayes, senior writer for the Weekly Standard. Mara Eliason, national political correspondent of National Public Radio, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Mara, let's start with the plan itself, what the administration is hoping it would do, despite the fact that other mortgage adjustment efforts have pretty much failed.
This is an adjustment to an earlier plan, HARP. HAMP. And the idea is that if you are current in your payments and your mortgage is guaranteed by one of the federal guarantors, you can get refinancing with less hurdles. There won't be the caps, there won't be as many closing costs, you can even miss one payment and you'll still be considered for this program. Originally, the Obama administration thought that about 4 million homeowners would take advantage of this program, but only about 829,000 did. They're hoping that more will be able to do this. That might be true. But what's interesting about the debate over this is Mitt Romney has said two things. What you heard him say was the single boldest economic statement that Mitt Romney has come up with in the entire campaign, which is let's just do nothing. Let's be laissez-faire about this. Let's let the mortgage crisis hit bottom. But he also issued a press release today where he blasted the Obama administration for not doing enough about the mortgage crisis. So, you know, those are two criticisms. One, he hasn't fixed it. He hasn't done enough. The other is he shouldn't be doing anything.
You know, I did an hour about the housing crisis and Fannie and Freddie. I talked to experts, including the CEO of Franklin American Mortgage, and here's what he had to say about all of this.
We can try these things all day long, but we need to let the free market sift through what is out there. We're going to have to absorb it. We're going to have to bite the bullet before we can recover. We've got to accept it, chew through it, get through it, then we can begin to rise. But if as long as we prolong the inevitable, it's going to prolong the recovery.
Charles, that's essentially what Governor Romney was saying, but it's not politically the easiest thing to sell on the campaign trail, especially in a place like Nevada that 65+% are underwater.
This is all about and only about politics. As Mara indicates, we've had the program now for 2.5 years. In fact, the number of homeowners, and we saw earlier in the show, Obama saying it's going to help 7 to 9 million families. Well, in fact, he's been off by only 99%. 1% are people who were helped, are people who had underwater loans, less than 1%. So it's been a failure. Everybody understands it's been a failure. But Obama is not here about fixing stuff. This is all about framing the debate. This is an appearance of motion. And the reason he does this is because he ran on, yes, we can. It turned out he can't. So now he's running on, we can't wait, meaning the other guys are to blame. Now he can't. So now he's running on, we can't wait, meaning the other guys are to blame because I can't. So this is all about the premise. He starts with jobs. He proposes a bill he knows has no chance of passing. But now he says unemployment, it's not me. I've been in charge for 2.5 years, but it's not me. It's the Republicans. And now the second stage of that is to say, okay, now that the Republicans have prevented any legislative remedy, I'm going to act unilaterally, heroically, on my own, through executive action, and I'll fix housing. He knows that this is a farce. It's a tweak of a program that already has been tried over 2 years and hasn't succeeded, but it's only appearance of motion. That's what it's about.
Politics?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, nobody believes that this would have much of a significant macroeconomic impact, even if he were able to do what he says he's going to do. And if you look at the Federal Housing Authority that is going to administer this and put up the information on its website today, they estimated that this might save an average of $26 a month. Now, look, I'll take an extra $26 a month if I can get it, but that's not going to solve our economic problems. The big problem, the broader problem, is what Mitt Romney alluded to in his bold statement, which I agree was bold, and it's one of the reasons I liked it. It's a supply and demand issue. We have too many houses, 3 million too many houses by many accounts. So until you fix that problem, this is all tinkering on the inside of that problem, and it doesn't actually advance anything other than President Obama's political argument.
Sure, but if you're in the House and you're getting ready to lose it, and some politician comes into your state and you've been paying your payments, and he comes in and says, now you can refinance at a lower rate if you've been making your payments, that is politically attractive.
Oh, incredibly powerful. And look at the places that this will have the greatest appeal. It's the places with
Nevada,
the highest,
Florida,
all of these places which are key electoral states. I mean, there's no question that he's doing this for political reasons, and I think it could actually help him. I mean, he's going to go tomorrow to Denver and talk about how we're going to help you pay off your college student loans. He's going to go and give voters, you know, essentially promises, or make them promises that he hopes Republicans will break, so that he then can say, see, I wanted to do this, but they wouldn't let me.
But you know what? If you're a homeowner who has good credit, making their payments, but because of the real estate market, your house is underwater, you see that the banks got all this cheap zero credit. Everything was done for them so they could continue to borrow and lend, but nothing's done for you. All you want to do is refinance your house. I think this seems fair.
Is this part of the strategy, Mara, of tapping into the anger of Occupy Wall Street?
Well, I think it might tap into it. I think this is part of the unfinished business that Obama has promised from the beginning, which is that he was going to do something about the mortgage debt crisis. Now, we talked about Mitt Romney. This is one of the starkest contrasts. The Republicans, you know, don't want to do anything. They want to let the market deal with this. If there have to be more foreclosures, fine. The president says the government has a responsibility to help these people who have not been irresponsible.
Charles.
Well, look, but you're helping a person X by taking the taxes of a person Y.
Well, we did that for the
banks. It's not exactly. It's true, but the reason that we save the banks is not because anybody loves the banks or saw them as virtuous. They are necessary. If you don't have a bank, you don't have lending. If you don't have lending, you don't have a business. You don't have the business. You don't have any employment. That's the only reason the banks were saved.
Mortgage debt is the biggest drag on the economy.
It was systemic because the victims are not only the banks. The collateral damage is enormous. Now, I'm not against tinkering, but the president has tried with a huge program at the beginning. He said it was going to help 9 million Americans. It doesn't. He knows that he's being cynical about this. $26 a month, okay, it'll probably help a few people at the margins. But he wants an issue. This is all about an issue. Romney is right. In the end, the only solution is going to be a clearing of the market. And the more you tinker it and you slow it down, the more you prolong the pain. That's a fact of life.
Mortgage debt is a huge, probably some people say the single biggest drag on the economy right now.
But this is not going to fix it any
what
more.
What would fix it other than waiting?
More than the HARP program did at the beginning.
Well, what do you
think
would fix it?
And it was 10 times as large. It will be the market. There are some things that you don't fix with a tweak from the federal government.
For every liability for one person, it's an asset for somebody else. So you're actually redistributing wealth is what you're doing.
Okay, I lost control of this panel. It is called HAMP, HAMP program. Which
HAMP? Yes. It's HAMP and now it's HARP.
I thought it was HARP.
Now it's HARP.
Now it's HARP.
Because it's
again, I lost control of the complete panel. Next up,
we got to listen to Brett.